असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय
This episode contains 3 parts. The first one relates to listening comprehension. The passage is an account of Kovalam, the beauty spot of God's own country.
Kovalam is internationally known as the beach to visit in Kerala. Situated at the southern tip of the city, its blue waters capture the imagination of tourists flocking to the beach every year. The Kovalam beach stretches from the Vizhinjam lighthouse at one end up to the borders of Shankamukham beach in the city. It has the distinction of placing the state of Kerala on the tourism map of the world. Tourism as an industry in Kerala highlights Kovalam and its pristine beachline. Resorts, cottages, and hotels have sprung up in and around Kovalam, turning it into a commercial hotspot. Ayurvedic sauna and massage centers are the latest to join in. Even the monsoon is a time to celebrate with water sports, Ayurvedic rejuvenation therapy, and healthy diets. Fishing is the traditional means of income. The sight of numerous fishing boats out at sea is enthralling in itself. Motorboats have replaced the slower and insecure catamarans of antiquity. The fascination of Kovalam lies in the long stretch of natural sea, crashing in on huge rocks and into the greenland within. Coconut palms lining the edge of the mainland are perhaps unique to Kovalam and Goa in India. Water lovers at the beach swim in the sea, sunbathe in the tropical sun, and relax under umbrellas with a drink. The huge rocks pointing to the waters beyond from dangerous heights are a treat for the adventurous. Between the green sea and the blue sky, they recline as remnants of a prehistoric presence. The blue-green waters of Kovalam and its innate beauty are seen only in the Muttam beach in Tamil Nadu.
Lakshma, can you tell me what gives Kovalam its fame?
Kovalam is internationally known as the beach to visit in Kerala.
What does Kerala tourism highlight, Anu?
Tourism as an industry in Kerala highlights Kovalam and its pristine beach line.
Name the commercial spots in Kovalam, Kuku.
Resorts, cottages, hotels, and handicrafts.
There is a story narrated for comprehension. Narratives are good pieces of discourse because they contain other forms of discourse like description, narration, and dialogues. If the children are able to understand the narrative properly, it means that they are able to understand other forms of discourses too.
This is a story of a man who had 2 wives.
Once there lived a man who was in his late 40s. He had been married for nearly 20 years. He held a job as the assistant to a landlord in a village in North India. His children were grown up and lived in faraway towns. His wife, a conservative lady, had been with him through the hardships in life, in raising a family, and was now beginning to show signs of aging. Gradually, he nursed a desire to marry again. When he traveled to distant villages, he kept an eye out for pretty women who were eligible. Finally, he met a young woman from a poor family. It was a grand wedding, and the whole village attended it. They were curious to see the second wife. The young wife, in marital bliss, spent most of the time dressing up to please her husband. In comparison, the elder wife felt like a faded picture. Naturally, the 2 wives did not get along with each other. They quarreled so much that the man had no peace of mind. Finally, he decided that the elder wife could live in the family home while the younger could be given a house on rent in the city. He could then spend time with both of them. But the younger wife soon began to be the butt of ridicule in the eyes of society. She was ashamed when her neighbors laughed at her for being married to a man so senior to her in age. This led to disagreements between the 2 of them, and our hero often left the house in search of peace of mind. He could not seek solace in the elder wife, as he had only himself to blame. The young wife had troublemakers among her relatives too. One of her aunts warned her that if domestic fights continued, she may lose her husband forever. It was high time she took control of the situation. They thought and thought and arrived at a way out. The man's age was the problem, wasn't it? "Come over and lie down on my lap, dear," she called out to her husband one day. She then offered to massage his head and quietly pulled out all the grey hair. The husband, lulled to sleep by the soothing massage, did not realize that she was depriving him of half the hair on his head. The elder wife could not stand the sight when he returned home that evening. She feared that she would appear older. What would people say when they went out together? And God alone knew if a third wife would appear out of nowhere. So she in turn massaged his head and pulled out all the dark hair. The foolish husband apparently did not suspect foul play. He sat down on the floor and relaxed in the hot oil massage. Between the two of them, the man soon became bald.
How old was the foolish man?
The man was in his late 40s.
What was his sudden desire?
To get married again and bring home a younger wife.
How old was his second wife?
25.
How did the foolish husband become bald?
The young wife pulled out all his grey hair, and the elder wife got rid of the remaining black hair. Between the two of them, the foolish husband became bald.
Part 2 is a conversation between a member of the tour group and a librarian. The boy who goes to a library wants to take a membership there, and a conversation ensues between the librarian and the boy.
Good morning. May I help you?
Good morning. I would like to be a member of this library.
Please take a seat.
Could you give me a membership form, please?
Here is a copy. Please fill in your full name, address and the name of your school. You will have to get the form attested by the headmaster.
How much is the membership fee?
500 rupees for 2 years, and for the life membership it is 2000 rupees.
What's the reading time allowed?
You will be issued 4 cards, which means you can take free books and a magazine. You can keep the books for a month, after which you must either return them or ask for a renewal. You may have to pay a fine if you do not return the books on time.
Okay, my friend has been thinking of taking a membership here. Do you think he can use my card?
I'm afraid not. Your friend will have to take his own membership.
Alright, I will bring the completed form tomorrow.
Thank you. See you soon.
Over to the main sentences in this sample conversation.
Good morning. May I help you?
Good morning. May I help you?
Good morning. I would like to be a member of this library.
Good morning. I'd like to be a member of this library.
Could you give me a membership form, please?
Could you please give me a membership form?
Here is a copy.
Here is a copy.
How much is the membership fee?
How much is the membership fee?
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you. See you soon. Let's go through this conversation once again.
Good morning. May I help you?
Good morning. I would like to be a member of this library.
Please take a seat.
Could you give me a membership form, please?
Here is a copy. Please fill in your full name, address and the name of your school. You will have to get the form attested by the headmaster.
How much is the membership fee?
500 rupees for 2 years, and for the life membership it is 2000 rupees.
What's the reading time allowed?
You will be issued 4 cards, which means you can take free books and a magazine. You can keep the books for a month, after which you must either return them or ask for a renewal. You may have to pay a fine if you do not return the books on time.
Okay, my friend has been thinking of taking a membership here. Do you think he can use my card?
I'm afraid not. Your friend will have to take his own membership.
Alright, I'll bring the completed form tomorrow.
Thank you. See you soon.
Can you help me with these books, please?
Where are you taking the lot?
I'm going to the library.
Shall I carry them for you? I'm afraid the library would have closed by now.
What's the time now?
6:30.
That's okay, we have 15 minutes left. Can you help me with these books, please?
Where are you taking the lot?
I'm going to the library.
Shall I carry them for you? I'm afraid the library would have closed by now.
What's the time now?
6:30.
That's okay, we have 15 minutes left.
Part 3 is language practice. In language practice, we try to give the children some practice in the use of tenses, present, past, and future. We also give practice in the 4 aspects of each tense.
In the descriptions and conversations we came across so far, we saw how verbs are used to tell us what is happening. The relation of the verb to time produces various tense forms. If time can be thought of as a continuum, that part of it which refers to here and now is said to be in the present. All that has occurred from the beginning of time up to now is said to be in the past, and all that follows is the future. Today we shall look at various forms of the present tense. Simple present. The simple present can be used to indicate universal truths, general statements, or habitual actions, as in, the sun rises in the east. I prefer coffee to tea. The present state, I am hungry. Formal declarations, sports commentaries. I declare the district athletics meet open. The present progressive can show the temporary present. The children are sleeping now. She is living with her parents. Temporary habit. I am playing cricket regularly these days. My mother is not working this year. Shall we take up the simple present and the present progressive? The simple present is formed by adding s or es to the main verb. The present progressive has the following pattern: am, is or are plus main verb plus ing.
Where are you going, Reshma?
I'm going to buy a magazine.
My brother never writes to me, so I never know what he is doing.
Do you see that man at the corner? He keeps stopping people to ask something. Do you think he's asking for directions?
No, I think he's conducting interviews for a TV channel.
What happens in your class? Does the teacher give lectures every day?
No, he gives 2 lectures a week, and on the other days he shows us films or tells us stories.
Why is that man standing in the middle of the road?
He's trying to get across. Perhaps he's waiting for a gap in the traffic.
My uncle lives next door, and his son comes and plays with me every day.
Let's look at these forms once again.
Where are you going, Reshma?
I'm going to buy a magazine.
My brother never writes to me, so I never know what he is doing.
Do you see that man at the corner? He keeps stopping people to ask something. Do you think he's asking for directions?
No, I think he's conducting interviews for a TV channel.
What happens in your class? Does the teacher give lectures every day?
No, he gives 2 lectures a week, and on the other days he shows us films or tells us stories.
Why is that man standing in the middle of the road?
He's trying to get across. Perhaps he's waiting for a gap in the traffic.
My uncle lives next door, and his son comes and plays with me every day.
The present perfect has 4 main uses. Action in the past with results in the present. The taxi has arrived. Indefinite events in a period leading up to the present. Have you been to Kovalam? Habit which continues up to the present time. He has practiced karate since he was 8. State of things in the past leading up to the present. How long has that shop been open? The present perfect progressive has the same meaning as the present perfect, except that it refers to a limited duration, a lesser amount of time. For example, Sharmila has been packing her bag. For example, Sharmila has been packing her bag. I have been studying for a test. Unlike the present perfect, the present perfect progressive shows an action continuing into the present. I have been reading your book, meaning usually I am still reading it.
I have been making chapatis. That's why my hands are covered with flour.
The car has been making a strange noise for some time now.
I have slept on every bed in this house and I don't like any of them.
The water has been boiling for half an hour.
Reshma has been awake since 4 o'clock.
Asif hasn't eaten anything since yesterday. The strike has lasted 6 months.
Please pay attention to the present perfect and present perfect progressive forms you have seen now.
I have been making chapatis. That's why my hands are covered with flour.
The car has been making a strange noise for some time now.
I have slept on every bed in this house and I don't like any of them.
The water has been boiling for half an hour.
Reshma has been awake since 4 o'clock.
Asif hasn't eaten anything since yesterday. The strike has lasted 6 months.
Let's take a look at these tense forms in the narration on Kovalam you listened to earlier in part 1.
Language practice requires that a child or a learner who hears English has to practice doing it, repeating the same pattern several times. This was one of the methods used by people who believed in the behavioral school of psychology. And in modern linguistics, communicationists do not approve of much language practice. We have decided to have a via media policy, using some practice and using a lot of life situations to really practice the language. So we took a look at some of the important aspects of language, namely how to listen to spoken English with a certain amount of understanding.
Asato ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma Mritangamaya.